In financial year 23-24, the Government of India collected 20 lakh crores in GST, which comes to about 15,000 rupees per person. So a billionaire and a daily wage earner both pay GST on food, on transport and essential commodities. The government has done nothing to alleviate this burden. There is no discussion on reducing indirect taxes on essential commodities, no roadmap to ensure fairer wealth distribution. All social sector spending has actually seen contractions. Let me give you a few examples. The finance bill mentions an health and education cess of 4% on income tax. No problem. Everyone's happy to pay this if it goes in the right way. You're taking our money, fine. The Kothari Commission in 1966 had said that 6% of India's GDP must be spent on education. Successive national education policies, including NEP 2020, insisted 6% of GDP must be spent on education. What are we spending today? Around 4.5%. What is China spending? 6.2%. This government's own national health policy of 2017 said that public health must account for 2.5% of GDP. What is this government spending today in the last budget? 1.94%. We must be the only country with a declining spending in health. The last few years, we have come down from 2% to 1.94%. So, Madam Finance Minister, wherever you are, I hope you're listening to me. Taxpayers don't mind paying extra cess for health and education, but at least spend it. Give the country what it deserves. Food subsidies have been slashed even as inflation has bitten into rural households. Between January and December of 2024, rural inflation was 5.4%, a full 100 basis points higher than urban inflation, mainly driven by higher food prices. Manrega is still underfunded. Last year's allocation was 86,000 crores. This year's allocation is also 86,000 crores, even though there's higher demand. If you pay West Bengal its 7,000 crores, which it is due, then you are even decrease the outlay even more. This time you guillotined the food and public distribution demand for grants. There was no discussion. Yet there are certain points that everyone needs to know. This country has a National Food Security Act in 2013, which mandates that 75% of urban households and 50% of urban households must have coverage. 75% of rural and urban must have coverage. Today, 81 crore people are getting 5 kg of free rations per month by this government. This is dependent on the 2011 census. Now, the government on affidavit told the Supreme Court that we haven't had a census since 2011. We don't even know when the next census is going to be. So the government says, well, how are you going to revise the numbers? There are many poor people who are not getting rations. The new number is an extra 13 crore must be given rations. Government says, we don't know. We don't have a census. So Supreme Court says, what do you have? We have an unorganized migrant portal, the eShram portal. According to the eShram portal, 8 crore new people must be given rations. The government is steadfastly refusing to give this 8 crore people rations. Please note, these people are paying GST. They are paying GST. You're raising 20 lakh crores based on these people, yet you're not giving them 8 crores people rations per month according to the Food Security Act. Now, this kind of iniquity, I'm not comfortable with it. We certainly don't want this on our conscience. Certainly not. Now what we're talking about is that when you go to, you keep saying democracy, democracy, democracy. The Honorable Prime Minister is talking to podcasts all over the world talking about freedom to criticize and democracy and democratic processes. We welcome it. But for a democracy to function, it is vital that its electoral processes be above board and above question. The legislative department in the law ministry is the nodal department which controls all spending for elections, for polls, for appointment for the poll members. The Honorable Finance Minister this year allocated 300 crores for voter ID cards, allocated 600 crores for election expenses, allocated 19 crores for EVM machines. But here we have an election commission that is refusing to give 100% VVPAT paper trails. It is refusing to make 17C forms public. It is refusing to give us new additions and deletions to the voter list. It is refusing to explain how duplicate epic cards are being issued in Murshidabad and in Gujarat. So spend taxpayers' money, but use it in the right way. We need some answers. Now let us examine the myth and the reality of this government's growth story. The Honorable Finance Minister claimed that India will grow at 6.5% next year. This forecast, by the way, is down from 9.2% predicted in 23-24. Just before he became RBI Governor, former Revenue Secretary Sanjay Malhotra in December warned government tax officials that they should not kill the proverbial golden goose with their demands. Net foreign inflows fell to 1.2 billion between April and December, down from 7.8 billion. Private investment is weak. Manufacturing is stagnating at 17% of GDP. Rural unemployment is 9%. Fiscal deficit has come down to 4.4%. Agreed. But that's not happened because of revenue growth. That's happened because you've cut essential spending to the poor. This is economic mismanagement, not fiscal prudence. The government's obsession with corporate incentives has only favored big businessmen, where small businesses and laborers have got hurt. You slashed corporate income tax in 2019 from 30% to 22%. Has private investment picked up? No. So who have these tax cuts benefited? Let me look at just one example. Let's not forget that all tax rules are written for Vishwakarma's India, not for Kuber's India, not for favorite businessmen. When it comes to crony capitalists, there are special rules. Please listen. In 2016, there was a rule that there can be no SEZ which has only a power plant. No power plant, only SEZ. But for a very special friend, Mr. A, this was done in Godda, Jharkhand. Mr. A received not only billions in benefits during the capex phase, but receives an ongoing benefit on no import duty for importing coal, no coal cess, no domestic supply obligation. Savings of clean energy cess were 320 crores per annum. Custom tax and GST benefits were another 2,000 crores. Now that things with Bangladesh have soured, the government has said you can sell power domestically. But have you recovered the back interest and the taxes which were meant for the SEZs? Plant was built by a Chinese contractor with Chinese equipment. Customs duty free, GST free, tax free. Not using Jharkhand coal, not giving Jharkhand power, not paying clean energy cess, and currently employing less than 1,000 people. For some people, rules, laws, acts mean nothing. गरीब लहरों पे पैरे बिठाए जाते हो, समंदरों की तलाशी कोई नहीं लेता. Stock market investors, corporates, small business owners have all become victims of the worst kind of tax terrorism. According to the last budget receipt of July 24, total income tax under dispute was 10.5 lakh crores. This figure has doubled from 5 lakh crores in 2015 to 10.5 lakh crores now in 23. So much for the promise of eliminating tax terrorism. When you're looking at the CBDT's Action Plan 24-25, it gives us data on pending appeals. It's telling us every year there are more pending appeals than appeals which are being disposed of. So what kind of dispute resolution are we managing?